This video is about acrylic paint color mixing. We're going to mix acrylic paint. We're going to do it in an organized way. I'm going to show you how to mix the paint, how to create a color matrix, and how to tint the colors and predict what they're going to look like. So first we're going to have a base color. On this one, my base color is yellow. And so let's go ahead and use that base color. I'm using this is house paint, pretty pure colors. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna create a little blob about the size of my thumb with this house paint. Usually for the sizes that we're working with, you don't need any more than that. Then I'm gonna have a flat brush and make sure it's nice and clean and not too watery. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start, we're gonna label, I'm gonna say yellow with a marker, and we're gonna paint a little square of yellow. So now you know what yellow is gonna look like when you apply it to your painting. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add white. But we're not gonna just add as much white as we can, and we never add a color into another color on top by making a big puddle. We want to have the opportunity to continue to use this yellow. So I'm going to take a little piece of the yellow and put it over here, and I'm going to take just a little bit of white and I'm going to mix it. Now this makes kind of a like light sunshiny yellow. I'm going to take that little pile, I'm going to add a little more white to it. I'm going to add with the corner of my flat brush, I'm going to add a little more white to it. And with the corner, I'll add a little more. And that's as many as we're going to do. So you can see how this paint behaves when you add white to it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean my brush, make sure it's nice and clean. We never want to, just like in other forms of paint, we never really want to get it all the way up here, and we want to make sure that it's clean and reshaped whenever we clean it up. Now we're going to go ahead and add a second color to this yellow. So we're going to go ahead and add this red color. There we go. Red is a very bright, strong color, so we don't need that much of it. Again, we're just using very small amounts because we're doing basically almost a fingernail size. So this is yellow mixed with red. So I'm going to go ahead and put red up here. I'm going to go ahead and make another little area of yellow and just dip the very corner, just a little smidge of red right here. Maybe a little more. Okay, that's a nice, really bright orange. Now let's add a little bit of white to this orange. Has a coral look to me. It also looks a little bit gray to me. It doesn't look as bright at all. And that is called chroma. We're taking down the chroma of this color a lot. And it almost has a peachy look or a blush look. Go ahead and try a different color. Let's try something really close to red. Let's try magenta. So we're going to mix a yellow, maybe a little bit of magenta, maybe a little more. We want to make sure it doesn't look real yellow and it doesn't look real magenta. It's really up to you how much to mix. Looks very, very similar to the red, but not quite the same. Let's add a little white to it. Again, you don't want to squeeze colors together ever. Especially in this matrix. To me, this has a little bit of a different tone. It's still a reddish tone, but it looks a little bit more, more brown. Now with the yellow, we're going to go ahead and try blue. So let's go yellow and blue. Makes a beautiful green. I'm going to label it. And then let's go ahead and add white. When we're painting, just like when we're watercoloring, we never want to stab, we don't want to grind, we don't want to paint necessarily back and forth. It's almost like you're painting fingernails where you're kind of going one way. Typically not like this because it'll get all over the place. We want to keep it kind of together. Okay. Our last color that we have to offer is black. So let's go ahead and mix the yellow and the black. Maybe a little more black. Again, if you add too much black to the yellow, of course it's going to look really too dark, so we want to make sure we're kind of sparing. So we're going to add a little white to it. This really turned very green, like an olive green. It's very pretty. It'd be great if you're needing to use some different types of green. And there's your first matrix. You're going to go ahead and start with another color. Let's do blue. I'm going to take this off. So let's say your blue is your home color. And you're welcome to change your water anytime. Blue, just plain blue. Blue with a little white. Oops. A little more white. A little more white. I'm running out of white, and so I'm going to get it fresh. I'm not going to use this anymore because it's been... You want to add enough white to where the color changes. When I'm adding white to this color and I'm trying to change this really strong blue, if I add white like from here, I might add it just to the very corner of my color. I don't want to add it right in the middle because that's having to change too much of the color. Now I'm going to go ahead and, this is a blue matrix. I'm going to go ahead and add red. Here's blue. Here's red. Makes a very, very, very dark color. Let's see what happens when I add a little white to it. A little more. A little more. And again, I'm adding it, if I want it to be lighter, I'm gonna add it not in the very center, but off to the side. And a little more. Okay, let's try magenta. I already have it. I'm gonna just do this one. It's a much more vibrant purple. Maybe it'll even add a little more magenta in there. And let's go ahead and add a little white. We're not gonna put it right in the middle, we're gonna put it off to the side. This is very similar to when you did your first color wheel. And for those of you who are new, it's a little bit different. So it's a completely different purple. I would say a little bit more vibrant. So as you added white to it, it really got to be a different color. Let's go ahead and add black, or we'll add yellow. Now blue and yellow in a way have already been done, but that's okay. I want to keep my I want to keep my matrix going, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. It actually looks really different when blue is the home color, because there's probably a little more blue in the color that I'm mixing up. And green has a reputation of really being so diverse. Let's look at the combination. This is the yellow as the home color, and here's the green, and here's blue as the home color. And so it's a little bit darker. Oh. Let's try blue and black together. Again, I want to make sure that it doesn't look black. This kind of has a navy blue, kind of a teal blue vibe. And I have to find we're going to make sure that we add enough to white to where there is a color change. That's why we don't want to put it right in the middle, because blue is such a strong color. We want to make sure that we have really really a clean source of white. So after you do 3 of those, I want you to tear your page off. And here's how you do it. You just kind of fold it down. And you just fold it up and you throw it in the garbage. Now you have a clean sheet. Now you're going to work with color complement. Orange to blue, red to green, and yellow, violet. So first you're going to make orange. And these are going to be important to create your neutrals. So let's go ahead and make a nice vibrant orange. And you're going to go ahead and add the white to it. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to find some blue. Don't put it right in the middle of your orange, put it off to the side so you still have some orange left if that color is not right. So you're going to mix that together and it should make kind of a gray, okay? Kind of a gray brown. And this will be great if you have like trees or any kind of natural forms, rocks. Much better than if you just add black and white together, which can be very cool and sterile. Now let's try red and green. So first we're going to go ahead and make our green. Oops, sorry, I made my green first. We want to preserve that green because we're going to use it later. Okay, so now we've made the full green. Now we're going to add some red to that green that we just made. Yeah, my green's a little bit dry, so I'm going to have to make some more. Some fresh green. That should make a nice neutral brown. And let's go ahead and add a little white to it. Can make kind of a silvery brown. Again, it has a kind of a gray or taupe flavor, but how different it is from the orange and blue. The third one we're going to do is a yellow violet. So first we'll make the violet, and then we'll make the yellow. I think the best violet has this magenta color, so I'm going to make violet that way. Here's my violet. I'm going to add white to it. Add a little more white. Add a little more white. Now I'm going to go ahead and, now that I know how that violet behaves, I'm going to go ahead and make a little more violet. And I'm going to add yellow to it. Kind of made a green. I'm wondering if there was too much yellow and not enough violet, so I'm going to make another bit of violet. And I'm going to add, if it looks green, that means you might not have had enough violet. Let's just see what happens. It looks green to me. Let's see. Here's a really different tone of gray. And this might look different also if you use the red instead of the magenta. and that is your assignment.